The volatile market has caused staffing and the talent pool in the legal profession to be viewed differently. And there's a lot of pressure from in-house legal departments to have lawyers work differently. So they're pushing down work to non-lawyer professionals at lower rates. They're increasing their use of temporary attorneys. They're having more lawyers who work on non-partnership tracks because they can then be billed out at lower rates. So using your talent pool differently at a small firm is really important in terms of responding to the market. My name's Deborah Epstein Henry, and I'm a former practicing litigator, first in New York and then in Philadelphia. 15 years ago, I started my own consulting firm called Flex Time Lawyers, and I do advocacy work on work, life, and women's issues for legal employers and lawyers. I've also written a book called Law and Reorder, and through that book that was released by the ABA in 2010, I do a lot of work on the future of the profession and new legal models. In the conversation that I shared today around the tumultuous legal market, I really talked about three areas that I've identified that really are changing in response to the volatile market and the changing demands of in-house counsel. One of the trends I'll talk about is the changing demands of in-house legal departments. And really what's happened is general counsel are getting much more pressure from their CEOs to have predictable legal department budgets. They are looking for ways to cut on staffing, so reduce outside counsel spend, but also do work internally with less staffing. And as a result, general counsel are putting pressure on their outside counsel for more efficiency, to demonstrate more value in providing legal services, to not charge for junior lawyers who don't know what they're doing and not absorbing that cost. And that's putting a lot of pressure on law firms because now they have to change their model in terms of responding to in-house demands. One is really being much smarter about their costs, and one way to do that is by looking at their office space. Is their office space really necessary? Would it be better to work in a remote way from home, a home office? Because when you have a fixed overhead expense, it's really driving your rates and driving your business in a way that is putting additional pressure. Increasingly, clients don't want to be charged for office space and overhead, particularly expensive office space and overhead. So the idea of being more efficient with your costs is one thing. The second thing is being more strategic and creative in how you bill your matters. So there's increased interest in alternative fee arrangements. And what I would say when you think about alternative fees is rather than focusing on discounts and blended rates, which some clients are pressuring law firm lawyers to do, instead try to align your interests with your clients. So the idea of a flat fee to handle something with an accompanying success fee or bonus, that really is a way to link up your interests with your clients and get a little more skin in the game, which is what clients want, and another way to sort of demonstrate your value. So because the volatile market has caused staffing and the talent pool in the legal profession to be viewed differently, and there's a lot of pressure from in-house legal departments to have lawyers work differently. So they're pushing down work to non-lawyer professionals at lower rates. They're increasing their use of temporary attorneys. They're having more lawyers who work on non-partnership tracks because they can then be billed out at lower rates. So using your talent pool differently at a small firm is really important in terms of responding to the market. So maybe it's bringing on a part-time lawyer who expands and constricts his or her workload based on the work demands of the client. That may be something smart to do. Bringing in some lawyers to do more predictable work that again can grow and shrink depending on the demands of the client is something that can be done. And looking at your non-lawyer professionals and seeing, are they being used to their maximum capacity? A lot of this is about being competitive with other firms and being as responsive as possible to the changing legal market and more specifically the changing demands of in-house counsel.